Hello, everyone, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Survivor 42, where we're all kind of drowning in our own little waves in the wind, aren't we?
Oh my goodness, especially the people in this episode.
When someone says, I need help, and there's a ladder around his neck, let's kind of wind things down beforehand, Jeff.
I like when you're watching Mike, who is a big guy who's clearly muscular. And for those that don't know, fat floats, but muscle sinks. Be whipped around as he's trying to untie it underwater. That's a sign. This is a riptide at this point. Let's stop.
Someone's about to
die. This challenge felt like Australian Survivor to me, just in terms of like intensity and stuff, and the fact that like Jonathan was the only like Adonis that could like somehow do this challenge just speaks to like just how difficult it was. And it was hard. It was hard to watch. I don't know how you guys felt, but I was like, oof, like I don't know, just like a little too much. Yeah,
I didn't like it. I thought it was like there was adrenaline pumping, but my face is literally red, and it has been all episode. And I think it's just because I just literally have felt like so many emotions watching this. Like I almost, if anybody had been injured in that, it was like another Koa wrong where like, how many people can you put at risk because of the stupid conditions around there that you've just decided to go for it? Like that's what I thought was going to happen again.
Yeah. But on the flip side, like what like tribe unity for the Orange Tribe in that challenge though, like Jonathan holding up the ladder at like a 45-degree incline and Lindsay climbing up that ladder and like getting the key. Like that was so just like I'm
gonna be honest. It was less about unity, just all about Jonathan. Like they're
yeah, true. But like just what a challenge moment. Like I'm not usually one to like praise like the alpha bros in the show or anything, but
he needs the prize.
It was I think that praise was deserved.
Let's a little shout out to everybody in the chat. Cosmic Jerry, who's been in the chat since 12:05 this afternoon. Linda Maxwell, Juan Washington Cruz, Matt Henning, Adrian, Dolores. Hello, everyone. I'm going to have an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
I'm going to have an unpopular opinion. Hello, Thomas Cook. Welcome. One tribe finished it. The other two couldn't.
Send them both to tribal.
It's called Survivor. Okay, that's just me. Wait a minute. Are we standing tonight and I'm sitting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you standing tonight?
We're both doing the standing pace
shuffle.
Okay. Well, thanks for the heads up. I would have rearranged everything because if I stand up, it's just like my boobs are just gonna have to do. Oh, look, I can stand up too.
There we go.
How does it feel?
I don't like this angle at all. I'm gonna sit down in a minute, but but
also, hi to Pokemon and Anne for coming into the chat as well.
Am I being ornery? Apparently, I say ornery wrong. It's ornery, but I'm gonna say ornery. Am I being ornery?
It's ornery.
It's ornery. It's ornery. Potato, whatever. But I mean, am I being a little incisive because I wasn't out there yet and I wasn't drowning in the waves, but I have been thrown in the pool and forced to swim. So, I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I that was my first thought when Jeff had both of them sit on the beach. I didn't expect him to get the dream team out there to like fetch the keys and like restart the challenge, right? That's what I thought was going to happen was both tribes go to tribal council, and I wouldn't have had an issue with that.
I wouldn't have either. I think honestly, what my point is though is that this was less about the challenge and how they've structured it, and more about the conditions of the ocean at the time that they were doing it. It's no different, in my opinion, than when they had people digging in the ground, trying to find keys or balls or whatever it was in Koh Rong when like Caleb had to be evacuated and like 5 other people were suffering heat stroke because they chose to do it the hottest day of one of the hottest days that they did it.
And that was just a reward challenge,
and
mind you. That wasn't even immunity.
Coffee.
Yeah.
So imagine like literally it was for like coffee and like cookies or something like that. and they're all fucking dying over it. That is a poor call by production. Like, know when you're going to be doing things. Look at the weather. If you have to reschedule a time by a few hours, you need to be able to do that, because the safety of which those people are playing is on your neck. And my whole point is, like, I don't think that there was a part of that challenge that was really horrible. Like, I think that that's a very doable challenge if the tide isn't bordering on a rip tide.
Yeah.
That's a very I don't know if anybody's ever been in a riptide. I've been in one once. I'm an incredibly strong swimmer. I was an open water lifeguard. That is scary.
Yeah. And like let's say like that they had to like get a team out there to like save somebody. Like there's like 9 people in the water like dispersed from one another. Like say all
and
of them
a
get
ladder.
exhausted.
A ladder, I mean.
Yeah, say all of them get exhausted at once, and like I don't think that they have enough resources to like pick like 9 people out of the water at once. You know what I mean? Like that, some very scary things could have happened there, and I totally agree, Beth, and I feel like production should have like 1 or 2 challenges in the can for like a just in case thing like this, like something that's easy to adjust, like taking out like little booths for like an endurance comp, like that type of thing. And I don't know, just like for things like this.
And here's the thing too, right? Like the more you're out there, the more tired your body is, the more dangerous it gets, let alone whatever's happening in the water, right?
Yeah.
So when I don't like that they waited until people were retreating back to the post just to hold on to something. Yeah. That was so irresponsible.
Scary.
Like shame on production, honestly. I'm happy nothing happened.
Yeah, I feel like is it really coming in second for the immunity challenge, or is it more of a participation immunity trophy?
Mm-hmm.
It's like coming in 10th place and you get a ribbon anyway, which I have a serious problem
You are
with.
starting to sound like a boomer right now, and I'm...
Let me tell you guys something.
Uh-oh.
When I went back in my day in the 80s, because I pretty much am a boomer at this point, if you want to, I'm 40. Listen, if you weren't first, you're last. Okay? Who was the rapper that said one is a... Who was that guy? He said 2 is not a winner and 3 nobody remembers.
Well, clearly that rapper was well known to the fact that you couldn't even remember.
Yeah, I don't even remember his name.
And a whole thing about not remembering. Here's my thing,
Cisco.
okay?
Might have been follow-up to the thong song. I don't know.
But the point is, when I was in... the whole thing about participation trophies, though, is it's not like we went out as kids and went, why don't we all get trophies? It was like boomers and Gen Xers who gave it to us.
I didn't get a fucking
they're
trophy.
Complaining. No,
I didn't give anybody
I'm not
a
saying
trophy.
that you did. I'm saying that like the oldest Gen Xers, which you are not the oldest Gen Xers.
Oh, it's Nelly. It was Nelly, number 1. Thank you, Matt Henning.
But the whole point is like
nobody remembers.
This isn't new though. That it's always like, you know, when you have 3 tribes, there's traditionally always 2 that are safe. I'm with you, Allison. If they're going to do 3 tribes, it would be really interesting every once in a while to throw both of them to tribal council. Throw the 2 bottom ones.
I'm sorry you almost died out there, which is totally not your fault.
Right.
But you got to go to tribal. I would love to see that uprising.
And this could be like a rule that is just in place like every season. Like in the event that there are 3 tribes and 2 tribes do not finish a challenge, they both go to tribal. Like that is a pretty fair rule to set up like across the board through any season. Because I totally agree. Totally agree. But
I just think too that like the reason why, when you think about it, is like if they did have the bottom 2 tribes always go to tribal council,
it's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. 2 is not a winner with nobody. He sees that song too.
So no, but like if they always sent the bottom 2 tribes, that means there would be 2 people going every week.
Yeah. And I guess
so
like
it can't be
a
structured
situation
like that.
where like you could kind of like throw a challenge and still like have somebody else be voted out too that could ultimately benefit you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you, if you're like the second placer, like in the challenge, you could say like, guys, like let's just like not finish it or something. I don't know. Like so yeah, it could
No,
be a little sticky.
like for the reason of like the format of the game, it has to be the top two. But I do
Yeah.
agree that like in the instance where you can't finish a challenge, then fine. But I will say in this situation, all they cut out was going up the ladder
Yeah.
to get the keys. So who gives a shit? They got keys for them. They still had to finish the rest of it
Yeah.
at that point.
That's true.
Now, what I would have done in order to balance it out is say, hey, guess what? Because Orange Tribe actually finished it, we're going to give you the fishing gear in addition to both of these things as a reward. That's what I would have done. Yeah. Why did they have to make the choice? They're the only tribe that finished all of it. So therefore, in my opinion, how they balance that out is here you go. Have it all.
Well, before we get into and analyzing this entire episode,
Thank you, Pokemon.
I just want to say, apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. Everybody in the club was looking at her. She hit the floor.
She hit the floor.
Booty got low.
She got them It's I forgot the second part of the chorus.
That's all I know. I don't even know the whole song.
Beth, I hope you're performing
Something
this
with
at
the
your choral
straps.
concert.
Yeah, this is
Your solo.
This is
A chamber arrangement.
A medley.
she had the floor. Next thing you know, shorty got low.
Nice. Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
The baggy sweatpants and the boots with the straps. That's the next line, baby.
Yes.
Matt's like, somebody clip that on Twitch, please. Yes, I agree. Okay, so before we get into the craziness of this tribal council and stuff, I want to talk about the Orange Tribe a little bit more, just because I am so like aware of Marianne's like edit, because I predicted that she's the winner in the first episode.
I love her
I'm telling
so
you guys,
much.
so she has the Beware Idol twist now after this episode. In addition to that extra vote, she
was really dumb and told everybody.
I know, that's the only thing. Like, and that seems
About
to be
both
overarching.
things.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the overarching theme this season. Is everybody seems to be telling everybody in one way or another.
Everybody's a
about what
goddamn
advantages they have.
blabbermouth. Even
So
last
bad.
week's episode, who was running their mouth last week?
Probably me.
Mike.
Oh, wait, an episode.
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm not talking about
Always
our
me.
side note.
Or sorry,
super
chat.
chat.
Yeah. That was me.
But no,
I was
yeah,
running my
Mike-
mouth.
I about
was
fell
Mike.
out when I watched it last week, and I was like, can he not, please?
Mm-hmm.
Can we not say we did? This
Yeah.
is getting greedy. Then you lose the and you can't remember where you put it. That would be me, by the way.
So honestly, with this episode, there's not really much other than the big tribal council. The only other thing we really need to cover is this whole Marianne and Amr going to the trip where, or not Marianne, Chanel. We were just talking about Marianne. Chanel and Amr going to like the journey. And I love those two as a potential pairing later in the game. I think that they have a really interesting dynamic and connection. And I think that Chanel's going to need someone because clearly she's not going to be working with Daniel much longer. So I think that could be good for her game. However, in what world do you risk your vote, Chanel? That was you basically told him I'm going to play it safe, which gave him the permission to risk the vote. Why would you risk the vote? That was the dumbest thing. That's the whole reason why everything happened tonight, was because of that moment right there.
Yeah. And so not only like does she know that she can't trust Omar, which, by the way, great read on Omar. Of course we'll get into the Chanel of it all, but I thought Omar played this as best as he could. And I think that it is going to benefit him that in the season of everybody telling everybody about what advantage they have, he's holding this close to the chest, even though that tribe before is very like strong and united.
Holding what close to the chest? That he doesn't have a vote?
That he has the extra vote.
No, he doesn't.
Right?
They both risked the vote and they both lost it. He doesn't have anything.
I thought what's the point of him risking then?
because he thought she was going to protect her vote. If they both risk the vote, they both lose it. This was a horrible call by Chanel at the end of the day.
But what was the reward to the risker if it was split?
Oh, then he gets an extra vote, but he doesn't get an extra vote because they both risked it.
Oh,
that's why
right.
Chanel didn't have a
You're right. I'm so
vote.
Sorry. You're
This
right.
is something that's going to be horrible because now Omar's not going to be able to, like, if anything, Chanel has burned all of her bridges tonight. Also, that whole mess at Tribal Council, you told Daniel at Tribal Council, vote for Lydia, and I saw it. Like, Chanel and Daniel absolutely showed their asses in the worst way multiple times tonight. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that looked at the clock at 7:40 and went, there's 20 minutes left in this show and they're already voting.
Yeah.
What is about to happen?
And here's the thing, like, we have been getting little, like, sprinkles of, like, segments of this tribe up until this episode, kind of painting Daniel and Chanel as, like, the two smartest out of the three groups of two. And the two, like, very, very capable. Exactly. Like, I wrote down one of Chanel's confessionals right before they went to tribal. She said, that's the power of my social game, is that I can direct the vote when I don't even have one. There's no way Chanel is winning this game after tonight's edit and execution.
Here's the thing, right? I had just said it would have been really great if she and Omar would have this relationship because I don't think she and Daniel are going to be working together anymore. He did what he had to do in order to save a little bit of blood from being off of his hands. That literally puts Mike and Chanel at the bottom of that tribe. Daniel in the middle. He maintained that middle status unless the four all go after Daniel later, right? It's an interesting predicament. Basically, I feel like Chanel that green tribe has to just win immunity from here on out for her to regain social capital. It was we never got told like what her reasoning was, but clearly Hai picked up on her energy not being what it normally was. When she got back, she should have told them, I think Jenny might have an idol because I just got back from that journey and that's what I had a risk to do and I chose not to risk it. Lie! Lie! You have information they don't have. You can make it up. And if you're like frantic in that way, then they go, oh, okay, we'll split the vote. And then for the love of God, don't go like this. Vote for Lydia. In the middle of tribal council.
Oh my God.
Hello?
Why are you even whispering at this point?
Lydia's getting the best of me.
The best of me. So bad.
Hey, vote for Lydia. Okay.
It kind of reminds me of like Liana's misplay last season in Survivor when Xander like made that fake idol and Liana totally thought that she had him and she got caught with her pants down during tribal. Like that's how the whole thing felt tonight. And
that was different because people just outsmarted her.
Yeah.
Nobody outsmarted Chanel here. Chanel and Daniel played themselves.
Yeah, I mean, and like it would be one thing if like all of this was like for Daniel's benefit, but I don't think it is. You know what I mean? Like Hai and Lydia will still have each other. Like you can ask them beforehand, like, are you going to hold this against me, like moving forward? And they can say it till they're blue in the face that like, no, of course not. But like, of course they're going to stick with their own and take you out next or Chanel. It's really
so
bad.
Here's the thing though. Daniel can say, hey, I got burned by Chanel. You saw it at tribal council. And then I voted the correct way with both of you. He is in a much better social position. It was so shitty that he threw his number one person under the bus. But at the end of the day, I think that's what might save him social capital wise. Unless Chanel and Mike can get it into Hai and Lydia's heads. Like, listen, we can't trust Daniel. Everything he just told you was a lie, even though it's not. Like, Chanel, you might as well have just owned up to it. Like, I don't understand why she denied it so hard at tribal. It just made her look so much worse.
Yeah. I guess, like, what could kind of, like, throw, like, a wrench in this plan is, like, I don't know, like, imagine, like, if Mike, like, activates his idol next week and then plays it on...
He's going to have to.
Yeah, he needs to at this point.
He's got to hope that the blue tribe finds their idol, which I think that from just like I think we know who gets it from the blue tribe. based off of what they showed in the first episode with clips of what happens in this series.
Yeah.
So I won't say it for those who don't remember, just in case
Right.
it's a spoiler.
And Pokemon wants us to know, do we feel bad for Jenny? Please answer. Here's the thing. Of course I feel bad for her. Like, it sucks to be put in that position, and it sucks to like see your execution coming rather than like a blindside, like
not even
like having
blindfolded,
people like talk about you in
Yeah.
a way that like, no, we're cutting you. You are not worth drawing rocks over. But I feel like she didn't fight hard enough in that tribal
Right.
to save herself. Lydia was pushing a little harder. And Jenny just like didn't really pitch enough of a case that we saw anyway. Who knows like what
That's exactly the point. We saw Lydia actively talking, but we didn't see Jenny. And I saw somebody say this in the chat as well. We know that Jenny is a little bit more soft spoken, or at least that's what we're led to believe through her edit here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just generally feel like I feel like this could be just like an editing issue. Like, we're not getting much agency from Jenny. It was interesting going into that vote. I was like, well, we've gotten more screenshots of Jenny than we have Lydia. So I thought Lydia for sure was going home, because we've gotten like no edit from her. But then the tribal council happens. And I also do wonder, like, there's just a tradition of under editing Asian women on the show. Even take Erica from last season. Like, there's just so many things that they do. I don't think it's an intentional thing. I do think it's an implicit bias that gets shown in these different ways, but it's a very interesting thing. Like, she's one of the two people going home. Was she really that quiet? I know that those travels can take hours.
It reminds me of like Lucy from Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that type of edit. You really don't see enough of it. And of course, like this is a million times I've said that, but this is like of what happens when we have like a shit ton of like advantages that we need to spend screen time on. And of course, like I guess like between that, how like enduring that challenge was, how long this tribal council was, like. I'll give the editors like a little bit of a break this time, because there was a lot to squeeze in this episode that didn't leave room for like any extra content or anything. I mean, we literally saw like we got like nothing from the Blue Tribe, like literally nothing from the Blue Tribe tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that.
But it sounds like we're gonna get some Blue Tribe stuff next week. Woo-hoo.
I know, right? They showed Romeo like a lot in the trailer, and I was like, wait, I totally forgot like he was even a player on the season. So we'll see.
I'm telling you, he's somebody who I feel like could get that under edit. Someone who goes far in this show. I
totally agree with that.
Be like a Heather.
So I guess like one other thing I wanted to mention was I thought like Hai was a really interesting character tonight in terms of he had the right reads. Like, he was very in tune with like listening for and like feeling out like red flags and stuff like that. But I feel like he was way too emotional and like read like stress on his face way too much when like he thought that like things weren't going his way. So I worry about his ability to like have like a poker face and keep composure in the future moving out.
He's someone also who's not really getting a huge edit until this episode. He's been relatively quiet. We've checked in with Daniel, Chanel, Mike, and Jenny more so than we had Lydia or Hai, but he had a really great episode. And I'm not gonna lie, I got so big brained thinking about this. I was like, oh, the edit wants us to believe that Hai would never switch on Lydia, but maybe he looks so like burnt right now at tribal council because he saw Daniel and Chanel like mouthing Lydia to each other, which is why he switched his vote. Like there's lots of things here. And I got thinking, like, I wonder if Daniel can get in his head. I was pretty convinced of that just because I was big braining it. But Hai really good. Daniel misplayed that so poorly. Like, never. How are you a lawyer who went to an Ivy League school and then went to Duke? Like, how are you a lawyer who says, here's all my cards in the first statement. I don't want to go to Rocks. That's not the right strategy. You tell people, I'm willing to go to Rocks for this. That's what you tell them. Yeah. Because then Hai goes, cool. All I have to do is say that I'm not I will go to rocks, and that will scare you enough that you will switch your vote. It doesn't matter what the argument is. Like, he just gave all the power up and gave it right to High.
I guess like in that situation, like what, and it's so interesting when it's only two people like making that decision, right? It's a lot more personal than like groupthink. Like I almost feel like no matter if you are willing or not willing to go to rocks, like I guess you kind of have to wait for the other person to make the first thumbs up or thumbs down, and then like after that, like you're able to like counter one way or another in your favor. So you kind of like have to be you have to like wait for the person to like ask you out on the date. You know, you can't be the initiator there.
But if you're going to be the first person to speak, you have to, even if it's not how you really would be. This is a game of bluffs. This is poker. This is heads up Texas Hold'em, right? So if you were put in the position, in this case, Daniel decides to put himself in that position for no fucking reason, like you have to be able to bluff. You have to know, oh, I'm down right now in cards. I don't have the winning hand, but I have to make this other person believe that I do in order to stay in this hand. The moment that you say, I don't have the winning hand, your turn to bet. Like, what? Then that person's going to outbid you and you're going to fold. That's what's going to happen.
Beth, I just want to say you are so good at talking about like survivor strategy. Like this stuff like really goes over my head sometimes, and like I don't know if Allison, you feel the same way about like it's so hard for me to like keep track of like all these advantages, all of these like twists and turns to like I don't know. I just got to be honest. I'm struggling like
I get lost
like
all the
saying
time.
like you know how like in Big Brother, especially BB Can, I'm like, this is what's going to work. This is what's going to like fuck this person over. I feel like this game is like to the point where like I can't like think that I can't foresee that enough. You know what I mean? It's just so like do you guys have any thoughts about that? Like not for me in particular, but like are you feeling similar to that?
I just have like thoughts. Daniel so became High's bitch tonight. Like High spent that whole tribal council turning Daniel out. You're my bitch. Vote this way. Let's go. I'm not. No. I mean, he was just every time Daniel would stop it. No. You know, and I don't like the whole rocks thing.
Here's the thing.
But I felt like maybe tonight, maybe it was necessary.
That should have been Jenny's argument right there.
Yeah.
Jenny's argument should have been High. And like at this point, I'm fine with you doing like basically trying to put out there Daniel and Chanel are clearly the instigators here. So we have a 50-50 shot at getting one of those two out, essentially. They're the ones who are causing all of these issues right now. And that would have probably made Daniel vote her out anyway. But what I think it really does in this situation is like there needs to be something that you are exposing here. There's nothing that she was going to tell Daniel that was going to help keep that there. I mean, did she even have any advantages at this point?
I don't think she did.
No, in the first episode, wasn't she one of the 3 people in the first challenge? So it was, wasn't it her?
Jenny, Marianne, and Drea?
Oh no,
right?
It was High. High's was on the team.
Right,
yeah, it was High.
High has that. Never mind.
Yeah.
But that is something that's just like interesting because Jenny went to the island, but she protected her vote, so she didn't have anything. So she had no cards to play, so you might as well throw the people under the bus. Yeah, exactly.
Listen, all Jenny had to do, if it had been me and I didn't have a dog in the fight, I just want to be like, okay, Daniel, if you want to be a bitch, if you want to be High's little bitch, that right there, Daniel would have been like, because the guys like that, they don't want to be called a bitch or a little bitch.
Jeff would have been like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And then right there, Daniel would have been like, okay, let's do rocks. Let's do rocks. And there you go. That's all you gotta do. Problem solved. So if you guys get on Survivor, all you gotta do is call me bitch.
Honestly,
you better
that's
dig,
a
bitch.
honestly, Allison, that's a really good call. She should have just turned around and been like, "Yeah, I knew you weren't that good at this game. You're just further proving it right now." What a little bitch.
I mean, for like a nerdy super fan archetype like Daniel, I think that kind of has legs in terms of like making him like worried and changing his mind. You know.
You know, if Jenny had turned around and been like, "Hey, you remember a winner who did go to rocks and had dislocated his shoulder, Tyson? You're never gonna be him because you aren't willing to go to rocks. You little punk ass bitch. You little fucking little punk ass bitch.
I don't F with you. I don't F with you. I got a million other fucking things I'd rather do than be fucking with you.
I could just picture the three of us sitting at Tribal. I'm like in the middle of the two of you, and you guys are just like doing
that over top of you, and you're going, Jeff, can I actually ask a question? How do all these twists work?
Right.
Yeah,
I need the playbook that Chrissy read in BBOTC in the store.
Yeah. I like the.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know
right?
exactly what you mean. Here's the thing: we would start off like kind of going like almost Eiffel Towering you, but then we would quickly turn into twerking into the side of your shoulders and your head, and you
shit out of it.
And then and you just be like, Jeff, I'm very uncomfortable right now, but it's not because of these two weirdos that are next to me. It's mostly because I just have no fucking idea how this game works anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, Jeff, I have a question. Is Marianne able to use her extra vote at all while waiting for the Beware advantage to activate? Like, does the vote lost for that singular vote per tribal, or is she losing all ability to cast a vote?
All ability.
These are the questions I need answered.
I would be like, Jeff, I just feel like, Jeff, is next season going to be pros versus little bitches? Because Daniel,
guess who's not going to play,
go ahead and give him the mill, bitch.
And then you end with this: do what you want. Do what you want.
Just do it. I don't care. Whatevs.
Yeah, she can't vote, period. Henning's right in the chat. The way that it's worded, it doesn't say you lose your vote. It says you lose your ability to vote.
Okay. That makes sense.
Isn't that the same thing, though? If you lose your vote, you lose the ability to vote. Don't both mean the same ass thing?
If you lose your singular vote, but you have an extra vote, can she vote with the extra vote? If you lose your singular vote, then that tells me, oh, I could use my backup vote. But if you lose your entire ability to vote,
you know what I mean? Like, it reminds me of like Hearthstone, like logic for like a card game or something.
I would be up at the parchment paper yelling, "Hey, Jeff! I don't understand what's going on right now. Can somebody?"
Are you like a teacher in the middle of the test? I need to ask you a question.
I had a question.
I like the idea that you leave the voting booth and go up to his podium as if it's the teacher's desk and go, Jeff, I have a question about this. Can you tell me what do I do in this situation?
Or I could whisper really loud, "Hey, Jeff!
Jeff?" And then go like this.
Vote.
Jeff?
Oh, God.
How does this work, Jeff? I don't know.
How does this work, Jeff? There's so many things going on right now, and I don't know what's happening. Everything's got to be difficult.
And he'll be like, never before on Survivor has anyone left the voting booth to come flirt with a teacher up here at my podium.
Baby, I'm not flirting with you. If I'm flirting, I'm not flirting with you. I want you to explain this shit to me because I don't get it. And you're ignoring me when I'm yelling from up there. So now I got to walk down here and it's wasting time. And now everybody knows I got an extra vote and I got a no vote. And I got I got immunity secret. I got in the mind. I don't know what I've got. Tell me what to do.
The best thing to do in that situation, he'd be like, you gotta vote, woman. You gotta vote.
D, woman.
D. No, you literally signed a contract. You have to vote.
I'm writing your name down, Jeff. Hey, like that. JEFF or BITCH, bitch.
Man. Genuinely asking though, like, is there any disadvantage to having it the other way around for Marianne. Like she can use her extra vote to grant her a vote in a single tribal council.
No, not at all.
I
Give
think
her a
it
vote.
should be that way. Like it would make like an extra layer to the extra vote.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm not mad at that.
Is that an immunity idol on your podium, or are you just happy to see me, Jeff?
Jeff.
Jeff.
You gotta dig, host. Dig. That's what I would say. The way I'm gonna yell if I'm ever cast on Survivor, which is a cold day in hell, but if I'm ever cast on Survivor and I'm in the middle of the challenge and he's like, "You gotta pick it up, woman," I'm gonna be like, "You need to shut your mouth, host. Shut it. I'm doing it."
Will you just call him a bitch for me? Just you need to shut your mouth.
I would have gone. I don't fuck with you.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah. We are off the rails.
Take on this, bitch. Okay.
All right, let's update our drafts real quick. So
Yeah.
here is the draft between the three of us. So
Jesus,
still
really?
still going pretty strong here. Yeah.
You have such an internal battle going on with your team.
I know. And I like picked like the three in the green tribe because I was like the green tribe's going to be like so, and I thought that up until tonight when everything just like imploded on itself. So we'll see what happens next.
You know who I think is a dark horse from the green tribe is Mike. I'm going to continue to bang the Mike drum. I think that he's like going.
Sorry, that's just.
You're gonna continue to bang Mike, is what you're saying?
No,
Right?
I'm an ace. That's not happening.
Tell us what his O face looks like when you're done. I'm dying to know.
Who? Okay, I'm gonna take the picture off in 1 second.
Mike.
We all have to make his O face. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. We need to screenshot that.
No.
And then here's our patron draft here. So Rory's team is still looking good.
Ooh, Rory.
Yeah.
Adrian lost their first
lost
person
Jenny
tonight.
Yep.
You know what's sad? I had we were all given a random person in one of the drafts that I'm doing, like this huge draft thing for Randy.
Mm-hmm.
And the random person I was assigned was Jenny. So I'm no longer in it for the rest of that time. But that one small portion.
Sorry for your loss, Beth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have chose her to begin with, but I did really like her.
I
forgot she was on my
Okay, so I think that wraps it up for us. Any last thoughts? Oh, I have a thought. This is like not about Survivor at all. Sorry, I didn't mean to just like segue.
Does anybody have a thought? Oh, I have a thought.
Sorry. I'm just really passionate about this. So the
right into
BB Can.
I take no, it's not BB Can related. So I take a lot of pride in how catered my YouTube algorithm is in terms of like video suggestions. It has started showing me these like episodes of customer interactions at the airport. So like Southwest like overbooking like seats on a flight, or like people missing their connections due to like a canceled flight, and just like the people dealing with those people and how like sometimes good or sometimes bad they handle those people. I don't know. It's very interesting.
What are you watching on YouTube that comes up in your algorithm?
I don't know like how they thought about this, but for me, it is 100% a match because it's a lot of drama and it's good reality TV.
You know what? I do like it when I've said once, I say many times, when people freak out on planes and are just douchebags. It's
like that.
It's terrible. You're still anyway. I hate it when people do that, but it is funny. But you know what? You know what? I have to share this. Isn't this the cutest little munchkin baby you've ever seen in your little life? Somebody's in a big boy high chair eating sweet potatoes. Look at that little munchkin.
Very cute.
That's me eating sweet potatoes.
That's me. I eat sweet potatoes too.
Am I preferring Pokemon asked, am I preferring BB Can 10 or Survivor 42? Definitely BB Can 10. Very excited to talk about the demise of Kyle tomorrow. And if that was a good move for Gino ultimately. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, it's not
at all. So I can't wait to talk about that. Who's joining me for that tomorrow?
I will
Me,
not be.
Okay.
me,
Cool.
me,
Cool.
me, me, me.
I'm
Can't
going
wait
to
to go
a
down.
volunteer charity event thing. Should be fun.
Nice.
So the one thing I was going to say though, actually now I can't remember what it was. Tyler, but does anybody have anything else to say? And I was like, and then I forgot.
I'm sorry because I interrupted your thought process.
No, it's totally fine. It wasn't anything too important. I don't remember. I will say that I think this season is already better than last season with all of the
Yeah, I agree.
stuff.
I would agree with that.
It's a more dynamic play, I think.
And the cast is just like a lot more rootable.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's a lot more players like with stakes in the game rather than like main cast and supporting cast. You know what I mean? Like it was very much so the Ricard and Chan show, like all season, like even when it didn't have to be. To the point of like us not knowing like the winner at all.
Right.
And I don't feel that will be the case this season. Even if it's like somebody like Lindsay who's been like very under edited this season so far, I feel like we still have like an idea of who she is as a person at this point.
I do think that one of the issues of having 3 tribes is that people feel very under edited at first, in a weird way. Because if your tribe is not going to tribal and there's a crazy tribal like tonight, we did not go to the orange camp really that much, except for the first couple of minutes.
And nothing at all for the blue tribe.
And nothing at all for the blue tribe at all.
You know, y'all think about such hard-hitting Survivor stuff. You know what I'm thinking during this episode? This is the 42nd season. Man, that's $42 million.
Yeah.
43 because Survivor 40 was $2 million.
That's right.
Ah, that's right. So I'm like, man, that is a lot of money. And I'm
I
thinking,
feel like that's a good like trick trivia question. Like
that is a good trick trivia question.
How many millions of dollars has CBS paid to Survivor winners? And I also wonder if there's a Survivor. Are there any Survivor winners that didn't get paid? I know like Richard Hatch like didn't pay his taxes for it, but he still got the
paid.
payout.
Everybody got paid.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they
never
paid their
know.
taxes.
I don't think anybody's not. What is it after taxes? Like 500,000?
I would imagine
600?
it's like 670 or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I don't get?
When
Still good payday.
Steven won, when Steven won 500,000, I believe his take home was around 380.
Okay.
In that
Okay,
range.
because see,
So
what
like
I'm thinking,
760.
how come Big Brother US is $500,000 and freaking Big Brother Canada's 100,000? Like, what is the deal?
Because
at
Big
least in
Brother
Canada-
US has the big studios, network studios who can pay that money. Canada doesn't have that kind of wealth.
Right. But any prize earnings won in Canada are like totally not taxed, so they get all 100,000 of that. So at least they get that.
Which is also why in the UK, when you go on a television show, you can't win money because they don't allow that there. So when you have Drag Race UK, for example, their prize is not even $100,000. It's you get to record a song with RuPaul because that's their way of being able to like give you royalties.
That's a tough payout.
It's why the Great British Bake Off doesn't have any money.
Oh, I thought they didn't offer any money just because they're just like too wholesome for that. You know what I mean?
So Erica, who won last year, who is Canadian.
Oh.
So does she get the full amount?
She gets the full amount, and because it's US dollars and it's Canada, the exchange is in favor of US, she got more money.
Wow, good for her.
Because it's 1.3 million Canadian that she would have gotten.
So
what I don't know though, is I'm sure she had to pay US taxes on that though. Because it was US income, essentially, not Canadian income.
Right. So that means that Erica is likely the third most earnings won Survivor winner behind Tony first, and then Sandra, and then Erica because of Canadian.
Tony first? Why?
Because he won 2 million and then 1 million, where Sandra won 1 million both of her times.
I always forget that he won Cagayan, even though I know he did, because I fucking hated him in that season. I don't understand.
Was that the season during COVID?
That was
that the
Winners at
season?
War. Yeah.
What-
It was at the very beginning of the pandemic.
And they did the the announcement on Zoom, right? Like
Yes.
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think I watched that. I think I watched them announce the win. I was like, because I don't even think we did anything with that. It was so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
We definitely just talked about the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeff having a setup in his garage. Remember
They didn't
that?
have a reunion.
Yeah.
Jeff wasn't Botoxed out either. He looked
No?
normal. He looked like 2000 Jeff again.
I wouldn't go that far.
Maybe a little.
All right, let's wrap this up. I have more mortgage documents to fill out. So.
Oh yay!
All right. Well, yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow night for Big Brother Canada with Allison joining me. So can't wait to talk all things Kyle Moore. Let's be nice to him on the way out, please. Is my thing. Like, you don't need to tweet him saying that he was a bad player. Like, we all know, and I'm sure he's a lovely person on the outside.
Great
and
hair.
then. Yeah, better than I'll ever have. And then next week we'll be back for the next episode of Survivors. So I guess let's go ahead and make our pick for who we think is going out next week.
Daniel, the bitch.
I don't know. I think that the green team is a really strong tribe. And I think because we're seeing stuff from the blue tribe, I think the blue tribe goes back to tribal council. I'm going to say Roxroy goes home next.
I think it's Tori's time next week.
I wonder too, because I think Tori is going to get a blessing and a curse next week if we know what
One
we
can
need.
hope.
I don't know.
But if she gets the blessing and the curse, it might just be a blessing.
Or a curse.
Yeah.
Because she's
That
the
was-
last one that needs
Yeah.
to get the blessing.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, well, everybody have a great rest of your night. We'll see you guys tomorrow and then next week. All right,
Bye.
bye.